it's foolishness to think that God has not total and absolute final control over his word.
Yeah.
And that he has safeguarded it all the way to its fruition. Foolishness. The only other option is for us to think that at some point, either the sourcing, the growing, or the harvesting, that men have been the ones who've been in control of it or in power over it. And that's just not so. But even though Christians verbally are not going to say that they would agree to that, and of course they would affirm that men have not, their actions do not support that, because they really don't believe that there is a Bible that God has specifically finished, that is pure.
Yeah.
The Bible is sourced, grown, and matured organically and systemically. I want to define those.
Excellent.
Organic meaning it is the issue of life. We've been covering that in former programs pretty deeply. Today we're looking at systemically. And what systemic means is that it is grown out with a full-fledged, built-in system to it. Now, that's why we see the chiastic writing the way we do in the finished Bible. Because systemically, it's all arrived so that each verse is in the right place. Each verse is talking about the right thing. The letters make up the words make up the verses make up the chapters make up the books, and the books make up the Bible. And together, it's a flowing, systemic river of life.
You know what word comes to my mind? As you're saying systemic, I'm thinking of the word design. And we clearly see the design of the Creator on every part of the Bible in such a way that a man could not have done it. And we're talking about multiple men over multiple time periods, keeping the systemic nature of it perfectly intact. It's impossible that a man wrote the Bible or that a man maintained the Bible. God's fingerprint is all over this.
It's incredible. Design is actually a good word, but systemic goes even deeper, because it means that they're connected, not only in thought, but they're organically connected to each other. There can't be a break in the system anywhere.
That's right. Okay. I see that.
Yeah. Let's analyze our header verse. We're going to cover that header verse a lot in this chapter, and we're going to see that it's part of a systemic revelation. God's revealing how systemically he handled the seed of the Bible, growth of the Bible, maturing the Bible.
Okay.
Okay, let's take a look at that right now. So what you're looking at now is our chapter header verse, Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Next, I'm going to put up 2 Timothy 3:16, and I'm going to show you that there is a life systemic value between these two verses.
Okay, let's take a look.
Here it is.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
Thank you. I'm going to put them both back up together this time, and I've color-coded, and I want to show you something.
Okay.
Take a look. What we're looking at now are the two verses, Isaiah 55:11, coupled with 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. Let's compare the yellows with the yellows, the blues with the blues, the magentas with the magentas. So, my words be that goeth forth out of my mouth. Now, look at how that matches in theme. All scripture is given by inspiration of God.
Amen.
If we take the blues, it shall accomplish that which I please. Look at the blue in 2 Timothy 3:16. Is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. And then finally the magenta it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it, in Isaiah 55:11. And then in 2 Timothy 3:17, that the man of God may be perfect, truly furnished unto all good works. So you could see that the themes, the yellow matched,
Yes.
the blue matched, and the magenta matched. But what you didn't realize, and why I pulled that verse up to show you, is that those two are systemically joined to each other through the phenomena that's found in the book of Isaiah. And what that phenomena is Isaiah having 66 chapters and the Bible having 66 books. That means that Isaiah chapter 1 would relate to Genesis book 1. Isaiah chapter 2 would relate to the Bible, book 2, Exodus,
Yes.
and so on, all the way from 1 to 66. We cover this in detail at the end of the book, Concealed from Christians for the Glory of God.
Yes.
If you want an advanced preview of that, order a book, and there's a complete study on it in the back of the book. We'll be getting there in the programs.
Yes.
But for today, understand that Isaiah 55, that means the 55th chapter of Isaiah,
Corresponds to the 55th book in the Bible.
Yes, and that is 2 Timothy.
Got it.
And so, therefore, we see that thematically there's a joining here
Yes.
and a harmony here because systemically it's connected through that Isaiah phenomena.
Yes.
That is an amazing
Absolutely.
issue of life.
And again, one of those things that no man can say. I mean, men do try to say, oh, that's just a coincidence.
Right. The fact of the matter is, Isaiah planted. Paul came along when he wrote 2 Timothy. Paul watered.
Yeah.
But that systemic, incredible growth that shows and reveals the obvious relationship between the two, that was from God who gave the increase.
Absolutely.
All of that's in 1 Corinthians chapter 3.
You know what? Let's take a look at that 1 Corinthians scripture on the screen so that our viewers can see exactly what we're talking about.
Sure thing.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 6 through 8. I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but God that giveth the increase. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. That's exactly it, because only God could give the increase of the books of the Bible to match the Isaiah.
Yes, that's inspiration and that's inerrancy of the Bible.